So to a number of questions I've had recently, plus I talked about it as a topic on the podcast, I've said 23 is, at least the first half of 23, is definitely not going to be the time to buy an electric vehicle. They're overpriced. They're going to get a lot cheaper. And as inventories rebuild and as more and more models come in the system, maybe the back half of 23, but really more 24. So then Elon Musk turns around and at least partially makes me a liar. Tesla's sales had softened, and worldwide Tesla cut prices from a moderate amount to a very large amount of money. And now a number of Tesla models are selling below the average selling price of a used vehicle in the United States. Ford, which has been the furthest forward in being an aggressive competitor to Tesla and electric vehicles in the United States, responded almost immediately and cut the price of the Mustang Mach-E down to a starting of $45,000, which also is lower than the average vehicle price in the United States. But even with these price cuts, we are early in the electric vehicle game. And unless you're at a natural buying cycle for a vehicle right now, I absolutely still hold to what I said last year and reiterated again in a question in early January from a listener of the podcast, that it makes sense to let the clock run some, because things are moving quicker in the direction I expect them to go. But we are so close, and you can measure it in months if you consider sometime in 24 being months away, or you can say a year away. We are so close to the market being flooded with new models of electric vehicles. The manufacturing cost of the innards, the guts of going into an electric vehicle, continue their trend line down. And we're looking not far away from the actual cost of manufacture of an electric vehicle being cheaper than the manufacture of a gas engine vehicle. Because we know the life cycle of ownership of electric versus gas, that electric is much cheaper over a full life cycle of ownership to have, including the cost to purchase, operating maintenance, fuel, repair, all that, than having a gas engine vehicle. But the advantage is going to be apparent even from the upfront purchase, but not yet, even with these price cuts from Tesla. Now, there are Tesla buyers who bought even up to the day before the Tesla price cuts that are steaming mad. And the value of used Teslas has collapsed after these price cuts. So that's something we don't talk about a lot, Krista, is the opportunity that exists with buying a used electric vehicle, many of which have, from other manufacturers other than Tesla, have very small battery packs that can be a very affordable choice for urban, suburban commuting. And now that the used vehicle prices in the United States of all used vehicles have come way down from their pandemic peaks, still falling, but the big drops have already occurred. If you do want to go electric and you don't need an over-the-road vehicle that can go to anywhere in the United States with being able to charge at various charging networks and stuff like that, or Tesla with its own network, looking at a used electric vehicle today makes sense. But for new vehicle purchases, yes, the math just got better from Ford and from Tesla, but it's going to get much better from here if you stick with my original advice and wait till really much later this year or in 24. And Krista, do you feel ripped off because you and your husband Mike bought a Tesla Model Y when they had really peaked the prices last year, right?
It was before then. They hadn't peaked, luckily. They were like 2 price changes before. It was like two prices.
Because Tesla, during the peak demand they were having last year in particular, kept ratcheting the price up, up, and away. And all this did was remove, I guess, the last two price increases.
Yeah, so it is right around where
it had
we got
been.
my husband's car. Yeah.
Yeah. So still, this is, I'd say we've moved to yellow caution light, not green light.